Down here at Off the Grid today, we got some special things going on. We're brewing up our Apple Valley beer for the Apple Valley Brew Fest. We came in this morning and we ground all the grains and we did the mash in. So we pitched all of the ground grains into the brew kettles at a certain temperature so that we could start extracting some of the sugars out of the grain. It's really important to recirculate the grains to create a mash or a grain filter bed. So we recirculate the grains on top of each other, and what that does is it allows the beer liquid to suck down through the mash and it clarifies the beer. And then once it's clarified, we begin transferring that beer into the boil kettle. Once we begin the transfer, that's when we start pumping hot water on top of the mash to kind of rinse those grains out, rinse the sugars out, and that's what we call the sparge. In the boil is where we'll add in the hops to help counterbalance the sweetness from the malt that we extracted during the mash. So we'll add the hops in, which adds bitterness, and then at the same time we'll add in our apples. What this is used for is measuring the specific gravity of the beer, the amount of dissolved sugars that's in the beer. And on this there's a bunch of different tick marks, and what we'll do is we'll float it in what we call the wort, which is pre-fermented beer. And we could take a gravity reading to see how much sugar we have dissolved in the liquid, and that'll help us determine how much alcohol is in our final product. We chopped the apples up finely, and when we added them into the boil, we added them after we cut the boil completely. So there was no heat on the burner. We just added the apples in at the last second, mixed them in real well, and we let them sit kind of like a tea so that the juices and the flavors get extracted out of the apples themselves and blend into the beer, make nice appley, flavory, crisp lager. Once the boil is finished and the apples have marinated in the brew for a little bit, we transfer it over to these conditioning tanks, or fermenters, and here we'll get the temperature just right before pitching in the yeast. And the yeast is what will ferment the beer and give us the alcohol in the beer. So we're really excited about this beer, and what we have going on here at Off the Grid Brewing Company is actually pretty unique. It's Apple Valley Brewing at its finest. We look forward to serving this apple beer at the Apple Valley Brew Fest this June.